All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Apostate Weekly. This is a special report that we're doing today. So, not our usual format that we're doing. And this is some sad news. You know, we've been reporting on Martin Haugh's son about being missing for the past several weeks, trying to get it out in the community, to get the word out to help find his son.
Yeah.
Well, he's been found. And sadly, his son was found murdered with a single gunshot wound to his head.
Very sorry.
This is a very sad situation. My heart and everything goes out to Martin and Jen and all the family and even close friends and relatives that knew Sam. I didn't know Sam at all personally. I've only seen pictures of him on Facebook. But I still wanted to do this because Martin was an ex-Jehovah's Witness. And if anybody knows anything about ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, is their funerals absolutely are trash.
Oh, God, yeah.
And they'll spend maybe a few minutes talking about the person, and then the rest of the 25 minutes that the speaker is up there, they're trying to sell you on the religion and why you need to join the religion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And nobody deserves that kind of funeral.
No.
At all.
In my opinion, it does nothing for the deceased. It doesn't really speak about their qualities, like their character, personality, etc. It's more about how the people in the audience need to recognize that they have to, in order to see this person again, do right, go out in field service. Like, it's just another, like, well, if you want to see your friend again in your family, you know what you have to do.
Yeah, it's really a manipulation talk in that regard, you know.
It is.
If you don't do XYZ, you're not going to see so-and-so again. It's like, who are you to tell me whether I will or not? You know?
Yeah.
And I mean, even if you did believe in the religion, and I'm not going to try to harp too much on this because that's not what this is about, but even if you did believe in the religion, you know, it is up to God to read your heart and to make that determination, not a group of men.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I always found the Jehovah's Witness funerals depressing, even more depressing than a funeral normally is. But it's a somber occasion. I like other celebrations of life because sometimes there's music and they try to make it more about the community and coming together and actually celebrating the life that this person lived. I feel like with the Jehovah's Witnesses, again, it's more directed towards what they did for Jehovah, what they did for the congregation versus like, oh, you know, he loved to put together little hobby toy cars and or whatever. It just kind of circles back to what they did for Jehovah, the governing body.
Right.
Boring.
And I actually got a chance to go to a funeral for somebody not too long ago for my wife's uncle. And it was at a funeral home, and he was a religious person, and most of the time spent there was talking about him and his life. There was a religious aspect to it, but it was very minuscule compared to talking about him and his life, the things he did, the things he accomplished, etc. Yep. And I thought that was just absolutely wonderful. Mm-hmm. You know, sitting in there and listening to about this person and their life rather than, well, if you don't do XYZ, you're not going to see this person again kind of deal. And even then, the religious aspect of it wasn't even that at all either. You know, it was, you know, more of the ceremony of what they believe and, you know, the scriptures that they use to back that up, and some songs about it, and just different things that were just so much more interesting to listen to and, you know,
Because
watch.
it's focused on that person.
Exactly.
It's not a time for education about the Bible or indoctrination really about the Bible. It's time to hear
Yes.
about like why James was a cool person, why he's a good father. Oh, he's a good father because he went door to door. No. James was a good father because he hung out with his kids and he went to the recital but you don't get that kind of introduction to a person at a Jehovah's Witness funeral. It's
No, you don't.
selfish. It's very selfish about the organization.
Exactly. So, with that in mind, I brought up Martin's Facebook page because, like I said, I didn't know Samuel or Sam. I think he preferred to be called Sam. Um, I did learn he was autistic, but one of the first things I noticed on his page was back in November, Sam turned 21, and Martin put a montage video of his life in pictures that I'm going to go ahead and share with you all
Mhm.
right now.
Oh, I love that.
And I thought this was just beautiful, this montage that he did. So hopefully I can make it.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh.
Oh. Oh gosh. I actually want to read that. Oh. That's so horrible
Yeah.
because like the 21st birthday, it's so awesome that like Sam got to celebrate that because a lot of J-Dubs never get that experience,
I know. And I think, what was it around? I want to say somewhere between 2014, 2013, 2015, somewhere around that time is when the Hawks left the religion,
Mm, yeah.
and so, if we're going back about 10 years roughly, give or take, he was probably around 9, 10, 11 years old when his parents left the religion and he got to start celebrating his birthday. And,
Yeah.
I never got that as a kid. My middle son, and I'm going to go with him because he's old enough to remember it, was we celebrated his birthday for the first time when he was 10. So,
Jeez.
looking at that, and, as a parent,
Mm.
the heartache is so tremendous. I mean, I really don't know what to say too much because it's just such a terrible situation.
What do you say? I don't know. I don't think that anybody could say anything to me as a mom if I lost my child that could comfort me or help me, or time is the only thing that's going to make things better, and getting justice absolutely will help. So Martin needs justice for his son, and the woman who bought the gun allegedly, she needs to pay the price for that.
Well, real quick, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go and just kind of retell what the situation was
Yeah,
based off the
please,
news sites and what happened. Okay.
please. Thank you.
And this is from the Herald. So this is out of the Charlotte Mecklenburg area of North Carolina. And I'm just going to read this word for word here off the website. I'm not going to share it, so I'm just going to read it. It says on Friday, the North Carolina Medical Examiner's Office positively identified Hawk or Sam Hawk, determined that he died from a gunshot wound and ruled his death a homicide. On May 5th, 32-year-old Michael Olarte was found dead of a self-inflicted gunshot wound in East Charlotte, according to the police statement. Shortly after, police found Olarte. Hawk's family reported Hawk's missing and said he was in a new relationship with Olarte. Now, every news source that I've seen so far has said that this investigation is still ongoing.
Mhm.
So they're still looking into more aspects of it, which I found that comforting because I was of the mind that, okay, well, they're pretty sure they have their man, the one who did it, this Michael Olarte, the murderer, and that would be a closed case, done deal. But it's still ongoing. So there's still more details that they're trying to sort out.
Yeah, I'm sure that there's a lot to suss out, especially when the suspect themselves is no longer here, so you can't question and you have to try to piece everything together from text and email and pictures and whatnot. So I'm sure that nothing, moves very quickly when it comes to the law. We know that nothing moves quickly when it comes to the law.
Hey,
Um,
we have our other guest that was going to join us here this morning.
a
So
miraculous appearance.
yes, the Holy Spirit guided him here.
Hello.
Welcome, ex-witness awake, Jonathan.
Welcome, Jonathan.
Hey, hey.
Hey, hey. Good morning to you. How are you?
I am okay. Little coffee. Got my kiddo on the bus, and here we are.
Here we are.
Here we are.
Oh,
So we just got done giving the news report story about what happened to Sam, and I showed a quick video of what Martin posted for his 21st birthday. It was like a little montage from his Facebook page about his life throughout the years. So trying to catch you up a little bit on what we've been talking about.
Yeah, thank you. So, not the my usual hilarity that I like to do on camera. So,
no, I know.
No,
It's so it's like I just keep
and this
thinking as a parent, if this were my kid, like I'd be losing my shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
and this is one of those situations I don't dare try to make any humor or comedy because it's so sad and so terrible. And I want to give proper respect to Martin and his family and also proper respect to Sam as well.
yeah,
Yeah. So I would appreciate if if you know Martin, if you are following him on social media, Facebook, Twitter, etc., to please just let him know that you're thinking about him and that you care. Like, I know it's hard to figure out what to say. I'm not a wordsmith whatsoever in these situations either, but it would make me feel better to know that others at least just cared, even if they didn't know what to say. So reach out. I would appreciate that.
And so far, so I've been posting this around. I've posted it on Reddit. I've posted it on Facebook. And I know Martin's been doing it. I know others have been posting it as well. And I have been seeing an outpouring of love and support and condolences going out to Martin and his family. So XJW community, you're doing very well on that. Thank you. And he still needs to get it because I mean, this is one of the darkest times of his life, and he's going to need all the support he can get.
yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
I was asked from one of our viewers, Tall Cool Woman, in a comment the other week about if there was any kind of PO box or anything that people could send cards to. And
Oh,
I asked Martin about it, and he said no, he doesn't have any PO box, and he doesn't really want his address being given out to everybody either, which I understand that. So
yeah, understandable.
the about the only thing I would say is, if you find them on Facebook, find them on Twitter /X, go on there and leave a comment, leave your condolences, you know, at least reach out and say something, because something is better than nothing. Even if we can't send a postcard, at least send something to them to just let them know you're thinking about them, and there for him if he needs any support or to be somebody to talk to, because sometimes grieving people just want to talk and just be listened to without you saying anything.
Oh yeah, it feels good to get it out. It doesn't seem like it, and for me, like, I know when I have trouble, when I'm sad, when I'm upset, like, I just shut down. I completely just like Ryan disappears. But Martin, I think, has truly appreciated the amount of people who've reached out to him. And again, you guys, you have to remember, like, we're all deconstructing. We've just lost our hope. I know it's been a few years for Martin, etc., but when you think about it, when you live like 30 years of your life thinking like, okay, I'm going to get to see my family again, I have this great future ahead of me, even if everything goes bad, I know at the end of the day I'm going to wake up and be in a paradise at some point. And we've all lost that, like, security net.
Mm-hmm.
And I still sometimes, like, when I think of my grandmother, I'm like, oh, I don't want to. Sometimes when I think about it, it just really, it hurts. It hurts because I was promised so many relationships that I would get to continue, and it was just all lies. So I just want us to remember that Martin probably is still grieving part of that also. He's not only grieving the loss of his son, but the loss of what he thought his future was going to be, that safety net. And I just can't imagine the difficulty. And I'm so thankful that, oh, fuck you guys. Sorry. I'm really thankful we have this community. And that's why, like, I feel like it's so important that as a community that we rally around Martin right now, because if this were me, I would just hope that y'all would do the same. Sorry.
Yes. And we absolutely would do the same for you and for anybody in this community, because we all come from the same background. We all had the same promises made to us, and I should actually say all the same lies made to us as promises. And now we are having to break that down and grieve what we thought we had from before. It's a grieving process to lose what we thought we had.
Yep. I've been grieving for years. Like, I don't just cry every day, but quite frankly, I feel like we all have in some ways been grieving for years. And when does the grieving quit? When do you stop missing somebody that you love? When do you stop missing the life you thought you had? Of course we move on. Of course we don't try to wallow in the pain, but that little nagging piece is always going to be there, something that somebody took from you, and they took our innocence. And boy, do I grieve that. I really do.
Yes. I agree with you. They took everything from us.
And you also don't have the community that you had before. As an average Jehovah's Witness, you probably know hundreds of people, different congregations, right? There's 100 people or so that you don't have the support of anymore in just the congregation you're in, and then, the circuit and whatever else. And then suddenly you don't have that. So to have the community of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses is, I think, a very important thing.
Yes.
That's such a good point. Like, we literally lost everything. Our friends, our family, most of us lost our family. And then to have to also go through a death, and then couple that with the fact, like, for me, I'll just put it because I can only speak for me. When my Jiddu died, and he's a witness, now you're like, do I want to go to this funeral? At least these are the thoughts that went through my head. I don't really want to go to this funeral. I don't want to be more depressed. I don't want to hear them telling me I have to worship Jehovah and go out in field service in order to see my grandfather again. Right? I feel so bad for all those people who are in that weird limbo where they still have an attachment to the Jehovah's Witness organization, but they don't. They're not part of it, but they still are intertwined with it. And they have to figure out how to grieve appropriately when they don't have the love and the support of that congregation that they used to, even though it was kind of like flimsy and it's conditional. You didn't necessarily recognize that, right? Like, you don't necessarily understand that people only care about you to a certain extent. You just feel like you've lost it all. The floor dropped out from underneath of you, and losing that community. I'm like, having y'all, y'all, even though I don't always talk all the time, just to know that I have the safety net there when the world gets heavy, it's a godsend. And I'm not religious, but it is.
Let me bring it back to Sam a little bit here, because I want to talk a little bit about what I've learned about him in my looking him up. Because, like I said, I don't know a whole lot about him, unfortunately. I wish, we all wish we did at this moment. But from what I have learned, though, he was, of course, I said earlier he was autistic, but he was also one of those kinds, he never wanted to leave the house. He was very shy and reserved that way. He wouldn't even want to go on vacation with his family. He would have rather stayed home. That's just the kind of personality he had, the type of person he was. Nothing wrong with that. Not whatsoever. Now, that being said, for him to have moved out like he did with somebody, move across the country in a way. I mean, from Pennsylvania to North Carolina, that's a big move for
hours
for a shy, introverted person to go.
Yeah. Who spent half his life as a JW, like you said, shy, introverted.
Yep. And, especially dealing, being autistic, being shy, being introverted. And you could just tell he had the kind of personality where, just from his pictures, I could see it because of my own son being autistic, my youngest son, how when he's in his world with something, he's in his world with something. That's his whole focus.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. I'm not saying anything wrong about that. That's okay. But for a person like that to move out of his home, his parents' home like that, in with somebody else, that was a huge step for this young man.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big point.
I can't imagine what it must have been like for him to make this step, to think he's in a relationship with somebody that cares for him enough, that made him move out of his parents' house, only for it to end like this.
And that is, when it comes to, and not even just autism, people who are introverts, they're not the kind of party people who go and hang out and chill with friends. They usually stay home. Maybe they're talk to friends online because it's not so in your face. There's a little less person. I don't know how to. I just know sometimes I feel like I have trouble talking person face to face, but online it's a little easier when my fingers can do the talking versus my mouth. Right? Like, so him to move after, living the life of a Jehovah's Witness for so many years and, finally just getting to experience freedom and celebrating birthdays and etc. Oh, it's so heartbreaking.
I remember what it was like moving out of my parents' house for the first time at 20 years old. It's a big step in life. It's freedom, it's independence, it's self-sufficiency. There's a whole host of, I get to do what I want, but I also have to pay the bills too. So there's the responsibility of it all. And it's a lot for a young man to take on. And to get that first taste of it and then to get that taste ripped away is just so terrible. And really nothing but love and support for the Hawks right now. You're muted.
Sorry. I just wasn't sure if there's anybody in the audience who wanted to say anything. Don't have to, but if you want to put something up, we can put it on the screen here.
Yeah.
For Martin, maybe we could, I don't know, maybe we could do something like ask people to put the comments for Martin under this show, and then maybe we could show them just to show Martin another time, obviously.
I kind of had an idea as regards to that.
Okay.
So and spread the word, spread the message. Anybody who wants to make a comment about it, send it to me, or if any of you two are willing to accept them as well. What we'll do is we'll then compile a list of all the comments that we get from everybody. And after about, let's say 2 or 3 weeks of letting them come in, we'll take that entire list of comments, and send them, and I'll send them to Martin.
That would be nice. I'm sure he would appreciate that.
Has there been any talk about, contributions or donations for funeral costs?
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
No, that's a great idea.
Does he have like a GoFundMe or anything?
I don't know. He hasn't said anything about that. About the only thing he said was they were going to have a celebration of his son's life in a few weeks, and that's the last I've seen of Martin on any social media.
Well, if you talk to him, maybe just ask him if there's anything that he wants us to advertise for him as well. We can do that on the show, whatever.
I think that's a great idea, Jonathan. Let's set up our own GoFundMe or something and try to raise some money and just send it to him, whether he says yes or no.
I mean, we can do that. You go ahead. You sign up for it, and I'll help you advertise it. You put it in your name, James.
You best be contributing too, Ryan.
It just reminds me when my father passed away 20 years ago, my mom saying that, just out of the blue, just the right amount of money for the cremation showed up, and, some sort of blessing from Jehovah kind of thing.
Right.
And I'm sure it was just probably some concerned brother or sister who looked it up and found out how much it costs and came up with the cost. So not miraculous, but, still help from people. And that is important.
It is. It's very important, especially when something like this happens out of the blue. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't have any funeral fund set up for my children. I don't expect that to happen. Nobody does.
I mean, unless you're rich. If you're rich, maybe, you probably have insurance policies on everybody because you want to cash out. Let's be honest, but most Jehovah's Witnesses or former Jehovah's Witnesses, that's probably not where we're going to be. We're probably not sitting pretty in our lives. So having just extra nest eggs for emergencies like this, probably no.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a great idea, Jonathan. Let's go ahead and try to implement something like that. We'll collaborate together later about that. Okay.
Yeah, we can combine the power of the two channels and see what we can do with that.
That's right. And I know, I'm sure that if we contact some other larger channels too to put the word out too, we can get quite a following for that.
Yeah, there's so many JW channels who I'm sure would be happy to at least advertise it.
I know you. Oh, I'm sorry.
The only other channel that I that I maybe just because I don't follow a lot of people, but the only one I saw was Kim and Mikey's. Like they were reporting about it. Where were there other ones?
Okay.
Yeah, they did. I was gonna say maybe talk to I know because I know you've been on his channel, Jake Altworldly. See if we can get some of these other big channels to help promote it and get it out there.
Even if they just made a community post.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like something simple like that. It doesn't have to be a whole video feature or something.
No, just a community post, like either on their YouTubes or their Facebooks or whatever. You know, that would be helpful to start spreading the word around.
Exactly. Oh, guys.
So, well, I didn't want to stay on here too long. This special has been, going on 30 minutes right now. Sorry you weren't in for the whole thing, Jonathan. If you two want to continue, you're more than welcome to. But I need to head up to bed.
No, I'm good. Is there anything that you wanted to add, Jonathan, before we go?
Not really. Just, like you said, reach out, try and be as supportive as you can. Listen. I know with myself, sometimes I want to solve all the problems, but you can't solve this problem. So, just be willing to be a listening ear if that's what the family needs.
Yeah, exactly. Just be a friend in need. Reach out, offer your condolences, and be there if Martin needs us to support him. And I appreciate everybody in the community who has done that thus far. Y'all are amazing. And let's keep growing this community. Let's keep going.
Like you said, all the people who helped pass out the original post for his missing son, that was awesome. Thank you for everything that you've all done. There was a lot of community backing with this already. And I think now's a great time to continue to give it to him and show him that we still love and care for him, even after we found out the resolution of this.
Yeah, of course.
Because this is where it really counts right now. So, with that being said, though, I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye, everybody. Thank you for showing up for those who did. I know it was kind of a last minute put together of a show. Don't forget to catch us tomorrow morning for our regularly scheduled show where we have Ken as a special guest coming on with us. So please join us there. And everybody, we look forward to getting your comments and sending off your love and support to the Haugh family.
Yeah, please do, guys.
Yes.
And just put a little white out on there and make it say Ken.
Yeah, so that's all we're going to do. Just white with Ken over top the Jono.
I thought we were going to put like something over Jonathan's face too, but got to make him look a little different.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Okay.
Appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Jonathan.
You're welcome.
All right, everybody. Have a great day. We love y'all.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye, guys.